Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I am very grateful to Hemagiri Prabhu for kindly inviting me here to speak something on Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 79th chapter, verse 11 to 15. I am also very thankful to all the wonderful devotees in the management of ISKCON Juhu, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple, and I am very thankful to each and every one of you who has kindly come here for attending the talk, and my sincere thanks also to those who are watching online. Before we begin the talk, it is tradition established by the previous acharyas that we should perform Mangala Charan, auspicious invocations. So following in that tradition, I'll perform Mangala Charan. Most of us know about these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrashabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gomatim Gandakim Snatva Vipasham Shona Aplutah Gayam Gatva Pitrnishtva Ganga Sagar Samgame Upasprishya Mahendrado Ramam Drishtva Bhivadya Cha Sapta Godavarim Venam Pampam Bhimarathim Tataha Skandam drishtva yayau Ramah Shri Shailam Girishalayam Dravideshu Mahapunyam Drishtva Venkatam Prabhu Kamakoshnim Purim Kanchim Kaverim Cha Saridvaram Shri Rangakhyam Mahapunyam Yatra Sannihito Harihi Rashabhadrim Hare Kshetram Dakshinam Mathuram Tatha Samudram Setumagamat Mahapataka Nashanam. Synonyms: Gomatim, at the Gomati river. Gandakim, at the Gandaki river. Snatva, bathing. Vipasham, at the Vipasha river. Shone, in the Shona river. Aplutaha, having immersed himself. Gayam, to Gaya. Gatva, going. Pitrin, his forefathers. Ishtva, worshipping. Ganga, of the Ganges. Sagara, and the ocean. Sangame, at the confluence. Upasprishya, touching water, bathing. Maha Indra Adrau, at the Mahendra mountain. Ramam, Lord Parashuram. Drashtva, seeing. Abhivadya, honoring. Cha, and. Saptagodavarim, going to the convergence of the 7 Godavaris. Venam, the Vena river. Pampam, the Pampa river. Bhimarathim, and the Bhimarathi river. Tataha, then. Skandam, Lord Skanda. Kartikeya, Drashtva, seeing. Yayau, went. Ramah, Lord Balaram. Sri Shailam, to Sri Shaila. Girisha, of Lord Shiva. Alayam, the residence. Dravideshu, in the southern provinces. Maha, most. Punyam, pious. Drashtva, seeing. Adrim, the hill. Venkatam, known as Venkata, the abode of Lord Balaji. Prabhu, the Supreme Lord. Kamakoshnim, to Kamakoshni. Purim Kanchim, to Kanchipuram. Kaverim, to the Kaveri. Cha, and. Sarit, of rivers. Varam, the greatest. Shri Ranga Akhyam, known as Sri Ranga. Mahapunyam, most pious place. Yatra, where. Sannihita, manifested. Harihi, Lord Krishna, in the form of Ranganath. Rashabha Adrim, the Rishab mountain. Hare, of Lord Vishnu. Kshetram, the place. Dakshinam Mathuram, the southern Mathura. Madurai, the abode of goddess Meenakshi. Tatha, also. Samudram, on the ocean. Setum, to the bridge. Setubandha. Agamat, he went. Maha, the greatest. Pataka, sins. Nashanam, which destroys. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: Lord Balaram bathed in the Gomati, Gandaki and Vipasha rivers and also immersed himself in the Shona. He went to Gaya, where he worshipped his forefathers, and to the mouth of the Ganges, where he performed purifying ablutions. At Mount Mahendra, he saw Lord Parshuram and offered him prayers. And then he bathed in the 7 branches of the Godavari river and also in the rivers Vena, Pampa and Bhimarathi. Then Lord Balaram met Lord Skanda and visited Sri Shaila, the abode of Lord Girisha. In the southern provinces known as Dravid Desh, the Supreme Lord saw the sacred Venkat Hill as well as the cities of Kamakoshni and Kanchi, the exalted Kaveri river and the most holy Sri Rangam, where Lord Krishna has manifested himself. From there he went to Rashab mountain, where Lord Krishna also lives, and to the southern Mathura. Then he came to Setubandha, where the most grievous sins are destroyed. Purport: usually one goes to Gaya to worship deceased forefathers. But as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, although Lord Balram's father and grandfather were still alive, it was on his father's order that he carefully worshipped his forefathers at Gaya. Drawing insight from the Vaishnav Toshani, the Acharya further explains that although Lord Balram was in the immediate proximity of Jagannath Puri, he did not go there since he wanted to avoid the embarrassment of having to worship himself amongst the form of Shri Krishna, Balabhadra and Subhadra. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripam tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, we are studying the 79th chapter of the 10th canto, and these are verses 11 to 15. In the beginning of this particular chapter, Srila Sridhar Swami, who is the original Sanskrit commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam, has explained the purpose of the entire chapter in one verse. So at the beginning of every chapter, Srila Sridhar Swami as well as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they compose a verse to give the summary of every chapter. So in the beginning of this particular chapter, Srila Sridhar Swami, whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls Jagat Guru, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami Guru Karimani, that everybody accept Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami as your Guru. And Sridhar Anugata Karo Bhagavat Vyakhyan. If you want to explain Srimad Bhagavatam, explain like Sridhar Swami. So Srila Sridhar Swami in the beginning of this particular chapter says, Unashiti tame Ramo balvalam dvijatushtaye nihatya tirtha snana adhyai sutahatyam apanudat. Unashiti tame, in the 79th chapter, Ramo balvalam dvijatushtaye nihatya. Balaram first and foremost kills the demon Balvala, and this discussion has happened before these verses. So in Naimisharanya, the sages were performing fire sacrifice, and there was a demon named Balvala who used to throw impure substances at the sages who were performing that fire sacrifice. So they all prayed to Balaram to get rid of that Asura Balbala, and Bhagavan Balram killed that particular Asur. But before that, in the previous chapter, it is described how Romaharshan Sut was killed by Sri Balaram, and he had to do some prayaschita, atonement for that. And therefore, Tirtha Snanadhyai Suta Hatyam Apanudat. So by bathing in various tirthas, he drove away whatever impiety might be accrued by the killing of Romaharshan Suta. So, in the first verse, which you can see on the screen, it is described Gomatim Gandakim Snatva. First, in this verse, it is described Gomatim. Bhagavan Balram went to Gomati river. Gomati is a tributary of Ganga. So, Gomatim and Gandakim. Gandaki is another tributary of Ganga. Snatva, so he took a snan, he bathed in these two tributaries of Ganga. Then Vipasham, then he went to Vipasha Nadi. Today this Vipasha Nadi is called as Vyas Nadi in India. This Vipasha is known as Vyas. Also they call it Bias, B-E-A-S, Bias Nadi. So this Vipasha's modern name is Vyas, and it flows near Amritsar. This is where Vipasha Nadi is today. You can find it. And Shona today is called as Sona Nadi. Sona is near Chhattisgarh today. It is flowing even today. Gayam Gatva. Shona Apluta, he took a snan there. Gayam Gatva. Then he went to Gaya, where there is Vishnupad Mandir. And Pitrin Ishtva. So Pitrin means the forefathers. Ishtva, he satisfied the forefathers by giving them ablution, waters of ablution, which is called Pindadan. And then he went to Ganga Sagar Sangame. Then he went to Ganga Sagar, which is the place where Ganga meets the ocean. In the commentary, Sri Jiva Goswami says, Vidyamana Pitru Pitra Mahasyapi Tasya Gayayam Pitri Yagaha. Although his father, Sri Vasudev, is present, and his grandfather, Sri Shurasen, is also present, but still he went to Gaya on the order of his father, Sri Vasudev. And then he says, Tat Purvaja Apekshaya iti Geyam. So it is to be understood that Sri Balaram went there so that he could satisfy Purvajas, which means descendants previous to Shurasen who have passed away. There are many descendants, Devamid, etc., who are in the same lineage. So Yadu, many kings are there. In order to give ablution waters to them, he went to Gaya. There is another commentary named Gudarth Deepani, which explains Vridhau tirthe cha sanyaste tate cha patite sati yebhya eva pita dadyat tebhyo dadyat swayam sutah. Vridhau tate, when a father becomes very old, or tirthe cha sanyaste, or if the father has gone away for vanaprastha ashram to a particular tirtha, patite sati, or if the father is no longer able to walk, yebhya eva pita dadyat, whomsoever the father wants to offer oblations to, tebhyo dadyat swayam sutah, the son of the father can offer in place of the father. So Sri Balaram offered it in place of his father, Sri Vasudev, who was old and was unable to travel to a tirtha. Dear devotees, when many forefathers together we offer Shraddha, Pindadan, it is called as Mahalaya Shraddha. So what is Mahalaya Shraddha? When many personalities from the family you offer Shraddha together, It is called Mahalaya Shraddha. So Sri Balaram in Gaya went and performed what is known as Mahalaya Shraddha. There is something known as Ama Shraddha. Ama Shraddha is every month somebody may give Shraddha. And then there is Mahalaya Shraddha in Pitru Paksh, once in a year, for all the previous ancestors. You combine all of them together and you perform Shraddha. That is called which Shraddha? Mahalaya Shraddha. In Mahalaya Shraddha, Upadhyaya, Guru, Shwashru, Pitru, Vyacharya, Matula. Upadhyaya, you can perform Shraddha for your Guru. You can perform Shraddha for your Shwashru. Shwashru is mother-in-law. In Hindi we called Sas. And Pitruvya, Pitruvya is uncles, brothers of father. Acharya, somebody who taught in the childhood without taking any money, Acharya. Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihari ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. And Matula, Matula is Mama, mother's brothers. Shwashru, Bhatru, Tatputra, Putratvik, Shishya, Poshaka. Father-in-law, brother, brother sons, and then Ritvik, even one's family priest, one can offer oblations in Mahalaya Shraddha. Bhagini Swami, one's sister's husband, sister's children, if any of them have passed away. Pitarau, 3 generations of one's own ancestor, 3 generations of the ancestor of one's mother. So, and Sakhi Dravyada, any friends also we can perform Shraddha during Mahalaya Shraddha. And Dravyada, anybody who helped us by giving us wealth, that person also we can perform Shraddha during Mahalaya. And in this way, Bhagwan Balaram performed Shraddha for many individuals. The devotees after that in 12th verse it is given, Upasprishya Mahendradav. Then he went to Mahendra Parvat where he took bath, and Ramam Drishtva. There Bhagwan Parshuram was personally present. Because Bhagwan Parshuram was personally present at that time. Srila Sanatana Goswami says in Brihad Vaishnav Toshani, Evam Parshurame Bhakti Suchita. This shows that Sri Balaram had bhakti in Parshuram. He had immense bhakti in Parshuram. Sapta Godavarim, then he went to Sapta Godavari, the 7 Godavaris, and which are known as Tulya, Atrayi, Bharadwaj, Gautami, Vriddha Gautami, Kaushiki and Vasishtha. 7 Godavaris. These are the 7 branches of Godavari before the Godavari meets the ocean. Venam, Venam refers to the river Krishna Veni. And Pampam, Pampa is Pampa Sarovar in Karnataka. It is famous in Sri Ramayana, Pampa Sarovar. And Bhimarathim Tataha. Then he came to the river Bhima, which is near Pandharpur, dear devotees, where Bhagavan Vitthal resides. In commentary to this, Sri Jiva Goswami says, Shri Purushottam Kshetre cha tasyagaman Krishna Balabhadra Subhadrakhyattvena Sakshat Swapujane Lajja Patteriti. Therefore, he did not go to Jagannath Puri because he didn't want to see himself being worshipped. It would be a little embarrassing to go there and offer flowers to one's own self. So, this, dear devotees, is what is said here. In the 13th verse, Kandam Drishtva, then he went to see Kartikeya. Dear devotees, in Tamil Nadu, there are many ancient temples of Kartikeya. So he went and saw Sri Kartikeya. Yayau Rama Shri Shailam. Then he went to Sri Shaila in Tamil Nadu. There is a place named Sri Shaila. Girishalayam. It is the abode of Bhagavan Girish. If you notice the spelling, it should be Girish. Giri-ish. Girish. But another spelling is Girish. Girishalayam. According to Panini's grammar, the term Giri can also take the suffix Sha. So Girisha. Girisha is also the name of Bhagavan Shiva. We saw Girisha. Today it is, if you go to Mallikarjun, dear devotees, that is where you will find Girishalayam. Then Dravideshu Mahapunyam Drishtvadrim Venkatam Prabhu. Then he went to the most pious Dravid Kshetra, where he saw Bhagavan Venkateshwar. In the Subodhini commentary, Sri Vallabhacharya says, Sahi Parvata Eva Vishnu Rupa. That Venkata hill is exactly the hill in the form of Bhagavan Vishnu. So, this is the commentary of Sri Vallabhacharya. Then the 14th verse says, Kama Koshnim Purim Kanchim. Then he went to Kama Koshni. In the Subodhini commentary, Sri Vallabhacharya explains, Kama Koshni Kamakshi is the Kamakshi Mandir. Purim Kanchim. Purim Kanchim is Shiva Kanchi and Vishnu Kanchi, two villages next to each other where Bhagavan Shiva and Bhagavan Vishnu are worshipped together. Kaverim cha Saridvaram. Then he went and took bath in the Kaveri river. Shri Rangakhyam Mahapunyam. Then he went to Shri Ranganath Swami, Yatra Sannihito Harihi, where Bhagavan Hari personally resides. In the 15th verse, it is described how he went further south, Rishabhadrim. Rishabhadrim is a place where Bhagavan Shiva and Bhagavan Vishnu are both worshipped. It is in Thrissur in Kerala today. Hare Kshetram, but mainly it is a abode of Bhagavan Hari. And then Dakshinam Mathuram Tatha. So Dakshina Mathura is Mana Mathura or Madurai. And then it is said Samudram Setumagaman. Then he went to Setubandha, which is Rameshwaram, Mahapataka Nashanam, which is the destroyer of great sins. Dear devotees, these are the explanations of the previous acharyas on these particular verses. Now I'll try to speak something. This entire episode is about Tirtha Yatra. So we should understand what is the meaning of Tirtha. Dear devotees, the meaning of Tirtha is given by the grammarians because there are etymological meaning, and the etymological meaning means the meaning which the grammarians give. That meaning is given as Tiryate Anena Iti Tirtha. Tiryate Anena. By this place you cross over the ocean of birth and death. Therefore it is known as Tirtha. The Sanskrit dhatu verbal root is tre, plavana taranayoha. The verbal root is tre, and Tirtha is an abode where you cross over from this world to the world of liberation. Dear devotees, in the Atharva Ved, it is said, Tirthais taranti pravato mahiriti yagya kruto sukruto yena yanti. The same path which people who perform yagya, they take to attain liberation, that same path is taken by those who walk to tirthas in order to attain liberation. So even in the Vedas, there is immense glorification of tirtha. In Sri Mahabharat, Sri Vyasadeva says in the Vana Parva, Tirthabhigamanam punyam yajyairapi vishishyate. Tirtha abhigamanam punyam. Visiting a tirtha is punyam, is very pious activity. Yajyairapi vishishyate. In some cases, it is more beneficial even than performing a fire sacrifice. Dear devotees, although this is a fact, in today's age, visiting a tirtha often does not give the same result that it used to give in previous ages. There is a reason why. Many things have changed about Tirtha Yatra. Previously, dear devotees, when a person would visit a tirtha, they would go walking to a tirtha. And nowadays, even if somebody wants to go to a tirtha like Vrindavan or Mathura, they never go walking. they always take a vehicle. They take a train, and then after taking a train, they arrive in Mathura or Vrindavan or any other tirtha. So, in the previous Smritis, it is said, Yanam ardha phalam hanti tadardham chhatra paduke. Yanam ardha phalam hanti. Taking a vehicle takes away half the merit of walking to a tirtha. Yanam ardha phalam hanti. See, one thing is the merit of after going to the tirtha, after going to the holy place, what you do after that is separate. But there is a special piety of walking to the tirtha. A majority of the piety is walking to the tirtha. But yanam ardha phalam hanti. Half of the piety is taken away by accepting vehicle. And tadardham, and 1/4 is taken away chhatra paduke, by taking umbrella or wearing slippers, shoes. And vanijyam trims tatha bhagan. If somebody is going there for conducting some business transaction, 1/3 is immediately taken away. And sarvam hanti pratigraha. And if somebody is going there for long-term business and storing wealth, sarvam hanti, completely destroyed. Therefore, even today you will see in Mumbai, or at least you will see there are some people who walk to certain temples. You will see there are temples of devatas. Some people will walk. Why not take, why not? So some people will say, be practical. But yanam ardha phalam hanti. In that practicality, half of the result of yatra is lost. So then what remains is what you do after reaching there. Only that piety is accrued. But tadardham, 1/4 is lost if you are walking with shoes. So that also is to be taken into consideration. This is given in a very big compilation of Smritis known as Veer Mitrodaya. It's a very big compilation like Hari Bhakti Vilas. Also it is said, Tirtha Yatra Su Ashaktanam Yanam Doshakaram Nahi. But this rule does not apply for those who are incapable of walking. Those who are incapable of walking, for them an exception is made that they can take yan. Yan means they can take a vehicle. But if somebody is capable of walking, they are not supposed to take a vehicle if they want the entire piety. Previously, people used to walk to tirthas, and in walking to tirtha there is something special. Your mind arrives in the tirtha 1 week before your body arrives. I hope you are able to understand. So, but when you take a train from Mumbai to Mathura, the body arrives 1 week before the mind arrives. And by the time you have left Vrindavan, your mind is still in Mumbai. And when you come back to Mumbai, your mind has gone to Vrindavan. It was very nice, So, this is the reason why people reminisce Vrindavan after they come back to Mumbai. So, in order to reminisce Sri Vrindavan, the previous acharyas, especially Sri Ishwar Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they used to walk to Sri Vrindavan so that the mind arrives 1 week before the body arrives. And that's very important. However, in Sri Gopal Champu, there is a statement of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Because when Govardhan Puja was done, at that time the first Govardhan Parikrama took place. And when the first Govardhan Parikrama took place, all the Vrajavasis did the circumambulation of Sri Govardhan. And Sri Krishna himself sat on a cart and performed Govardhan Parikrama. He said, Natrapyangri kramitavashyakatvam swachandatvat yanamapyatradishtam. Sri Jiva Goswami mentions in Gopal Champu, Krishna's own statement. Na atrapi angri kramita avashyakatvam. It is not necessary that you perform Govardhan Parikrama only on foot. Swachhandatvat, independently you can perform. Yanam api, also you can take a vehicle. Api atra dishtam. You will get equal result of performing Govardhan Parikrama on a vehicle. So many times I told this to devotees. After that, devotees, they stopped walking around Govardhan. But this is a praman given in Gopal Champu. See, some pramanas are hope giving, some pramanas are depressing. So one pramana which is depressing is half of the piety is taken away by taking a train. So I should supplement it with some pramana which is hope giving. In Govardhan, you can take comfortably take a vehicle and you will get equal result, dear devotees, of performing Govardhan Parikrama. Parikrama is also known as Pradakshina. What is the meaning of Pradakshina? Prakarshana Dakshina. Very nicely you keep your worshipable deity on Dakshina, right side. I hope you are able to understand. When you are doing Pradakshina, the person or individual around whom you perform Pradakshina is on which side? Left hand side or right hand side? Right hand side. So therefore it is called Pradakshina. So Pradakshina in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is mentioned that Pradakshina should be performed by keeping the deity on the right hand side. Sri Sanatana Goswami says Pradakshina can also be performed by offering obeisances, Dandavat Parikrama. So in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sri Sanatana Goswami says, Shaktau, if one has the capability, one can perform Dandavat Parikrama of any particular place. Even this Sri Sri Radha Rasbihari Mandir, if somebody has the capability, we can perform Dandavat Pradakshina or Dandavat Parikrama. If one does not have the physical capability, one can perform on foot. But in a mandir, one cannot perform Pradakshina wearing shoes. In a mandir, one cannot perform Pradakshina on a palanquin or a vehicle. But this freedom is given for Sri Govardhan, dear devotees. So take advantage of that, because Bhagavan has very mercifully declared Govardhan Parikrama as giving equal result. Sometimes a question is asked, why are all the tirthas present only in Bharatvarsha? There are no tirthas outside Bharatvarsha. So yes, there are tirthas outside Bharatvarsha, but those tirthas get hidden very quickly. For example, there is a Shakti Peeth today even in Pakistan. It is called Hinglaj, one of the 51 Shakti Peethas. Because there are 51 places where the body of remnants of Sati, and after the fire, after the unfortunate events at Daksha's sacrifice, the 51 places at which Sati's body pieces fell, one of them is in Baluchistan. So it is in Pakistan. So dear devotees, there are some places which are outside Aryavarta, but these places don't stay active for long. Why? Because in Shastra, in the same Veer Mitroda, it is said, Chatur Varna Vyavasthanam Yasmin Deshena Vidyate Tam Mlecha Desham Janiyat. Where Varnashram Vyavastha is not fully destroyed, that is to be known as Mlecha Desh. And Aryavartam Atah Param. It is not Aryavarta, therefore Tirthas will not be usually found in such places. And therefore Bhagavan will not appear usually in a place which is not a Tirtha, dear devotees. So where Chatur Varnya, where Varnashram system is not present, Bhagavan will never appear. Therefore you will see the Tirthas or the places of appearance of Bhagavan are mainly in places where Varnashram Vyavastha is intact. Because why will Bhagavan appear outside of Varnashram? He may send a empowered living entity to do some prachar outside of Varnashram, but he personally appears in those places where Varnashram Vyavastha is present. My own Guru Maharaj, Sri Srimad Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, was asked this question, why Bhagavan appears only in India? So in Hindi he said कि बाहर जन्म लेंगे तो खाएंगे क्या, ऐसा. If he takes if he appears outside India, what will he eat? So eating will become first major question, dear devotees. So he gave a simplified answer. The detailed answer is Varnashrama Vyavasthanam Yasmin Deshena Vidyate. Where Varnashrama Vyavastha is not present, Bhagavan will not appear in that particular place. Acha. Now, while going to a tirtha, there are some rules to be followed. Please, dear devotees, try to understand. First and foremost, those who are second initiated, there is a freedom given. Tirthe gachan charet sandhyas tistra ekatra manavah. If you are going for a yatra, you can perform 3 sandhyas, 3 gayatris early in the morning and leave. So thrice you can perform Gayatri early in the morning and leave, so that for the remaining day, if you don't find a place, proper place, if you don't find facility to take a bath, then you can chant 3 Gayatris in the morning and then leave. But next morning you are supposed to take a snan and again perform 3 Gayatris. So every morning you are supposed to take a snan at least once. Often when devotees are visiting tirthas where you cannot find prasad, that is a very big problem. There are some which are designated as tirthas. It's very difficult to find prasad in such places. So the ideal thing is to not accept paranna. Paranna means to not accept anything cooked by somebody else, to make one's own cooking arrangement. That is ideal. But if that is not possible in some places, then what to do? Then one should arrange for what is known as niramish. Niramish means that food which does not contain amish. Amish means non-vegetarian or whatever is forbidden, mushrooms, garlic, onion. Free from that, food is known as niramish. So niramish bhojan should somehow be arranged, because in Parashar Smriti it is said, Deha bhange pravase cha vyadhishu vyasaneshvapi rakshe deva swadehadi paschat dharmam samacharet. Deha bhange, if you are about to die, first condition. Pravase cha, if you are traveling. Vyadhishu, if you are diseased. Vyasaneshvapi, or if the country has fallen into some big trouble. Rakshe deva swadehadi, first protect your body. Paschat dharmam samacharet, later you carry out dharma. First protect your body, especially while you are traveling. Otherwise what happens, sometimes devotees travel and take such austerities. After coming back, they are not able to perform any dharma for 1 or 2 weeks. So rakshe deva swadehadi, first protect your body. Paschat dharmam samacharet, then later you follow dharma. So these are not ordinary conditions, and we are not taking a license for eating non-devotional food. But because we are in pravas, in travel, therefore sometimes the devotee has to make a certain adjustment. But ideal is to cook oneself, not to accept paranna. Recently, at my home I performed Mahalaya Shraddha every year. So at my home, a grihastha is supposed to perform Shraddha every year. So when the Brahmana came, after the Brahmana performed the entire ceremony, so I offered him some dakshina and some dravya, and after that I requested him, will you eat something please at our home? So he said in Marathi, "Mi paranna bhojan karat nahi." I don't eat at anybody's home. So that is, some Brahmanas have this particular rule. Paranna bhojan, don't eat anything cooked by anybody else. So he said that he has this rule, he eats only at his own home. So because I said why? Because he said, if I have to perform Shraddha and so many things, in order to maintain my own purity and level of consciousness, I don't eat paranna. I don't eat anything cooked by anybody else. So this is the best thing, especially during Tirtha Yatra, if it is possible. Srila Prabhupada also, when he traveled to the West, he had this niyam. Paranna bhojan, never eat anything cooked by somebody else. He used to cook himself and eat. This is the ideal situation. But if some of us who don't know cooking, some unfortunate souls, they don't know cooking. Huh? So, so, so an exception can be made during travel, dear devotees. All right, but that should be niramish. Those who are Bengalis, they understand what is niramish. Niramish means without unofferable substances is called niramish bhojan. Sri Vallabhacharya says there is greater difficulty nowadays in going to Tirtha. In his Krishnashraya Stotram, Sri Vallabhacharya says, Mlecha kranteshu desheshu papaika nilayeshu cha satpida vyagra lekeshu Krishna eva gatir mama. Mlecha kranteshu desheshu. All places in India have been overrun by mlechas. Mlecha kranteshu desheshu papaika nilayeshu cha. Which means mlechas, they have taken over in all places. And mlechas have one characteristic, they are envious of cows, Vedic culture, Brahmanas. Wherever you see envy of Vedas, wherever you see envy of cows, wherever you see envy of Brahmanas, you should understand that the culture is Malech. And these mlechas, they are like balwala. They add impure substances to any act of sacrifice towards Bhagavan. So, mlecha akranteshu desheshu, practically all places in Bharatvarsha have been overtaken by mlechas. Papaika nilayeshucha, and whichever have not been overtaken by mlechas, there is a lot of pap karma also going on. Satpida vyagra lokeshu, if there are any genuine sadhus also, they are experiencing great difficulty. Krishna eva gatir mama. Therefore he says, Shri Krishna sharanam mama. Now my only shelter is whom? Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Then he says, Gangadi tirtha varyeshu dushtaireva avriteshvya. If you go to Ganga tirtha, etc., dushtaireva avriteshvya. Ruffians have taken over. You go to Ganga for taking a snan, and then you will see, Bhaiya, should I take you here? Should I take a tour guide? 1,000 rupees only, taxi, hotel. Bol, Are, I have come for Ganga Snan. So, Dushtair, everywhere you go, they will try to cheat you. So, Tirohitadhi Daiveshu, the Adhideva, the presiding deity of all these Tirthastans have disappeared. Therefore, he says, Krishna eva gatir mama. Therefore, Shri Krishna sharanam mama. Krishna is my only shelter now. But then there must be some sadhus in the tirtha. So, Sri Vallabhacharya says in Sri Krishnashraya Stotram, Ahankara vimudeshu satsu papanuvartishu. Many sadhus staying in the tirtha have become filled with pride because they are having many disciples. And papanuvartishu, labha pujartha yatneshu. Many of them are trying to get money, fame, etc. Therefore, Shri Krishna sharanam mama. Therefore, Shri Krishna is my only shelter. Dear devotees, therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has said in Prem Bhakti Chandrika, Tirtha yatra parishrama kevala manera brahma sarva siddhi govinda charana. Tirtha yatra parishrama. Nowadays, Tirtha yatra is nothing but what? Parishram. You know what is parishram? Hard labor without result. Because half the result is lost in taking a vehicle. 1/4 is lost in wearing shoes. And when you go to the tirtha, taxi, rickshaw, hotel, restaurant, whatever remains is lost in that. So tirtha yatra parishrama, kevala manera brahma. You go there, I saw this place, very nice. I saw that place. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, eye exercise. You go to a holy place for performing eye exercise. I saw this, I saw that. So once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took a Vrajamandal Parikrama Yatra, and one particular day everybody was supposed to go and visit Sheshashai Mandir. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was going to stay back and give a pravachan, give a talk. So few devotees stayed back. And one of the devotees who stayed back was Srila Prabhupada. He didn't go for Tirtha Yatra. On that day, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, I have noticed him. He likes to hear. And although they are eternally connected as guru and disciple, but on that said in his heart Srila Prabhupada as his disciple. So this was the reason, because Srila Prabhupada did not go for Tirtha Yatra on that particular day, although it is very nice to go to Sheshashai. Those who went also, they have done a very good thing. But those who stayed behind, they understand something deeper, dear devotees. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, I will sing, will you sing after me? Alright? Ye tirthe Vaishnava nahi, se tirthe nahi jai, ki labh hatiya dur deshe, tiya dur deshe. Ye tirthe Vaishnava nahi. In that abode where Vaishnavas are not there, say tirthe nahi jai. I will not go to that tirtha. Ki labha hatiya dur deshe. What is the use of rolling in the dust of faraway places? You know, you are doing parishram. He says, Yathaya Vaishnava Gana, say sthan Vrindavan. Where Vaishnavas are present, that place is Vrindavan. Say sthana Ananda Ashesha. That place has unlimited joy. Because real progress in spiritual life is made where Vaishnavas are present. One of the meanings of Tirtha, there are so many meanings of Tirtha given in the dictionaries. One meaning of Tirtha given in the dictionaries is Rishi or Sadhu. So there are many meanings. Shastra is also known as Tirtha. Kshetra, a place, is also known as Tirtha. A Sadhu is also known as Tirtha. Dear devotees, therefore, a Sadhu is known as Jangam Tirtha, walking Tirtha, and a place is known as Thavar Tirtha, stable Tirtha. So it is important to give meaning to a Tirtha. A genuine Sadhu should be present in a Tirtha. And dear devotees, that particular Sadhu has to, we should come in contact with that Sadhu, and that particular Sadhu has to give us some Tattva Gyan or some knowledge of Bhakti or some realization of Bhakti. That is the meaning of going to a Tirtha. Otherwise, it is more or less meaningless exercise. Some people say, why, just going to Vrindavan is not piety. Yes, it is piety, but a lot of it is taken away by the shortcuts that we take while going to Sri Vrindavan. Dear devotees, the lotus feet of Bhagavan are themselves a tirtha. Wherever the lotus feet of Bhagavan are present, here you have SriSriRadhaRasbihari. Wherever lotus feet of Bhagavan are present, that place is also called as tirtha. I will conclude with a verse by the devotee poet Sri Hari Suri, who has commented on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the introduction, Mangala Charan, the 3rd verse, he says, Bhaktyudreka namat surendra mukuta narghendra nila prabham. Dear devotees, you see the lotus feet of Sri Radha-Rasbihari, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. You will see something. Bhakti udreka namat surendra mukuta narghendra nila prabham. Indradev is bowing down to Bhagavan Shri Krishna When Indra Dev bow down to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, on his crown there is Indra Nilamani, blue sapphire. And that blue sapphire leaves a shadow on the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Alright, can you visualize that? On the lotus feet of SriSriRadhaRasbihari, there is a bluish shadow. But that bluish shadow is due to the blue sapphire. And that blue sapphire is on the crown of whom? Indra, who is bowing down at the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. So he says at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, there is a bluish colored hue. Then he says, Bhushanu Pura Padma Raga Ruchira Chayam Lasat Shri Padam. He himself wears Padma Raga Mani, these ornaments made out of Padma Raga, red ruby. And this red ruby, what is the color that will be reflected on his feet? Red. So there is bluish color, dark blue color, and there is which color? Red color. Jyotsna Kanda Nakhendu Kanti Lalitam Yasyang Hridesham Sada. And if you see the nails of his lotus feet, the nails of his lotus feet are like half moons. And what color does the moon radiate, dear devotees? Pristine white. So there are three colors which are there at the feet of Bhagavan. Which three colors are there, dear devotees? Dark blue, reddish color, and brilliant white. Dear devotees, Sri Harishwari says, Ganga has the color white. And what is the color of Yamuna? Dark blue. And the color of Saraswati is pinkish red. Dear devotees, he says, Swadkrishtam manute prayaga ihatam. Prayag himself, Allahabad, where Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati meet, that Prayag itself considers Bhagavan's lotus feet to be greater than itself. Why? Because in Prayag today you cannot find the third river. Which river? But at Bhagavan's lotus feet you can find the third river. Tam Vande Rama Vallabham. My obeisances to the lotus feet of Bhagavan and to those devotees who are staying at the lotus feet of that Bhagavan. Because those devotees are actually staying in a tirtha. Wherever they walk, that place actually is a tirtha. They are carrying the lotus feet of Bhagavan within their heart. And therefore, they are known as walking tirthas, dear devotees. So I'll pause here. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. If I made any mistakes, vidvam saha, your learned devotees, purayantu tat. Kindly correct any mistake. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if there's anything nice, please remember, tad guroreva. It belongs to my gurujanas, my Shiksha and Diksha Guru, all the teachers who taught me, including the teacher who taught me how to write the alphabet, all the Brahmanas who preserved all these literature for so many centuries, this Veer Mitrodaya, big collection of smritis, all the Brahmanas, they are my gurus. So it belongs to them, may nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yes. Do we have time for Q&A? Yes. Till what time? 10 minutes? All right.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very wonderful. So many new things we have learned today. Once Srila Prabhupada, along with his disciples, he was walking in Vrindavan, and then one disciple, he was not wearing shoes. Then he asked Prabhupada what the standard we should follow in Vrindavan. We hear that we should not wear chappals. Prabhupada said, you follow your guru.
Yeah.
Then Prabhupada, that time he was wearing chappal. So, anyway, all these things are there, but still Vrindavan is Vrindavan.
Right.
Jagannath Puri is Jagannath Puri.
Right.
When we go there, even if by vehicle or wearing chappal, there is something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Like even Narad Muni also instructed Tattata Gacha Badram Te. You go, Yamunayam Tatam Suchi, you go on the bank of Yamuna.
Right.
Then Punyam Madhuvanam Yatra, Sanidyam Nitida Hari. So Hari you will find there always.
Right.
So, in spite of all these things, because Srila Prabhupada established
Right.
Krishna Balaram temple and Mayapur temple, uh, then Prabhupada said, every year you go Vrindavan and Mayapur and recharge yourself and come back.
Right.
So that way, in spite of all the uh,
Reductions.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially ISKCON devotees.
Yeah, sure.
We don't go for eye exercise because we do katha.
Katha. Yeah. Wonderful.
We do katha. So that is the most important. Yeah, maybe you can quote that verse. Amnaya, you know this verse? Amnaya abhyasaniya aranya ruditam veda vratani ahnuvan medacheda falani purta vidayaha sarvam hritam bashmini. Then tirthanam agavanani gajasnanamiva.
Right.
Vinatvat pada dvandvamboraha sansmarati devasya narayana. This is Kulashekara Alvar's that if you don't remember Krishna, then if you go to Tirtha, it is equivalent to Gajasnana.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So this is a very nice point. This similar incident also happened here in Juhu. So one time Srila Prabhupada was walking on the Juhu beach, and one disciple came from behind running without shoes, and the sand was very hot, and the disciple was literally jumping on the sand but trying to follow Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada looked at him and said, "You have no shoes?" So he said, "Well, Prabhupada, with you, I don't feel any discomfort." So Prabhupada understood that he's pretending. So Prabhupada said, "Then why don't you cut your head? Why don't you cut your head?" So, so um, when we explain from Shastra, it's a difficult position because modern day has brought about many constraints on us. What to speak of our society, ISKCON? Many devotees from many devotional societies, they are also taking trains or they are wearing shoes. It's not exclusive to our own society, ISKCON. So the difficult thing is to keep the balance of Shastra, because Shastra is also expecting from us. Or will you do justice to our statements? Or will you say, because it is 2024, so, Shastra no longer matters? Or will you harmonize both of them? So obviously there is harmonization in whichever limbs of bhakti that we perform in the tirthas, which we perform without wearing shoes, we get 100% result, such as listening to a katha, or sitting inside a temple, or we go to Sri Sri Radha Damodar Mandir, we offer Deepdan, we do Pradakshina. All of this is done without shoes. So there are many limbs which give 100% result. That 100% credit will be accrued, no problem. But Srila Prabhupada understood that many of these individuals, they don't come from families which have samskars of tapasya since childhood. So for that he made some adjustment for the devotees. But even within our society, if there are devotees who come from family backgrounds which have a samskar for tapasya, they can take the full benefit of walking without shoes. But Govardhan Parikrama is an exception. You can take shoes on a cart and no problem. So that middle ground can be found.
Once I read your post only on Facebook that you said that one can do yantra parikrama, then you get the same result. Ever since I stopped walking,
Oh, see,
because by the time I reach Uttarakhand, I used to curse myself. It would become so difficult.
yes, sometimes people complain to me that I am responsible for making many people uh, give up their traditional form of.
I think in Gopal Champu it is said that ladies don't have to do parikrama, something like that, right?
I mean, as far as I have read, it is said that just take a yan,
Yeah.
take a vehicle and perform the parikrama. It gives the exact same result. Exact. There's nothing less. All right. But only for Govardhan Parikrama. Only for Govardhan Parikrama. All right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
One thing,
Yeah.
I don't know, I should ask or not. Like you quoted Sridhar Swami's commentary. It looks like Jiva Goswami also doesn't agree with Sridhar Swami.
Yeah. So it looks like Srila Jiva Goswami doesn't agree with Srila Sridhar Swami in many places. That is correct. Because uh, when we read deeply into the commentaries, we find out sometimes that even Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas may not agree with each other on certain points. And I am not saying without proof, I will give proof. Those who want to check it, they can check it themselves. So, because ऐसे नहीं कि Hariparshad Das came, made a, sensational statement and went away without giving praman. So, praman is needed for that particular statement. I'll give two pramanas. One is in Bhagavad-gita commentary, Guru and Shishya, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan, both have given commentary. There is that verse, aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma virakshitam, paryaptam tvidametesham balam bhima virakshitam. Our army protected by Bhishma is aparyapta. Aparyapta has two meanings, immeasurable. Aparyapta has second meaning, which means insufficient, opposite meanings. And paryaptam also has opposite meanings, sufficient as well as limited. So Guru and disciple, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan have taken mutually contradictory meanings. The meaning that you will find in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, you will find the exact opposite meaning in Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan's commentary. And the meaning vice versa. Another example is in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu commentary, where 64 limbs of bhakti are described. One of the limb of bhakti is Naivedya, accepting prasad. So there is a verse, Naivedyam Tulasi Vimishram. So one who accepts Bhagwan's prasad mixed with Tulsi in front of Bhagwan Hari, Sri Jiva Goswami comments there and says one should not accept prasad in front of the deity of Bhagwan. Walk outside and accept prasad. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it is not like this. He specifically takes that statement and says, it is not that one should not accept in front of Bhagwan. He takes that statement and he problematizes it. Says, it is not that one should not accept in front of Bhagwan. One should not accept pan in front of Bhagwan. Why? Because in front of Bhagwan to behave like a king is forbidden. To behave like a devotee is not forbidden. So, right there, you have a difference of opinion. And those who want, they can check the two commentaries of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami. So it's very important to understand that just because two acharyas are connected in the same parampara, do they have to speak exactly on similar lines all the time? So the answer is no. There is a letter by Srila Prabhupada where Srila Prabhupada says to a disciple asked about Sridhar Swami and Rupa Goswami's views on some aspect. And Srila Prabhupada said, there is no reason why acharyas cannot differ on a certain point. It's right there in a letter by Srila Prabhupada. There is no reason why acharyas cannot differ on a certain point. So these differences of opinion are there. In modern language it is said, if two people have the same opinion on all the issues at all the times, then one of them is irrelevant. You don't need two people then. How many people do you need? One. So if two people have the exact same opinion on all issues at all the times, one of them has become irrelevant. So you have two people, so you will have some difference of opinion. But the differences of opinion are either reconcilable, and if they are not reconcilable, then what do we do? Then Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan has given Udit Anudit Home Nyay. Follow any one acharya. The negative effect of not following the other acharya will not come to you. So that is called Udit Anudit Home Nyay. In quite a few places, acharyas may speak directly against each other. I have given some examples, and those devotees who want to look into this subject matter can look into these things. But for somebody who is a new devotee, they should not try to do this. Now I am 10 years in ISKCON, So I disagree with Srila Jiva Goswami. So that is not the etiquette of the uh, devotee. Uh, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like a commentary was written which was written purposely to negate the commentary of Sridhar Swami. It's one thing to disagree on a certain point. It's another thing to write an entire commentary to negate Sridhar Swami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, this is not good. Don't write a destructive commentary. Write a constructive commentary and you may differ on certain points, that's all right. Don't write a destructive commentary.
There is one very interesting anecdote. In Bhagavatam 10th canto 9th chapter, it is said that Krishna Bitva, he took a stone and broke the pot. When Narayan Bhattatri was writing Narayaniyam, he wrote that he took a stick and broke it. Then in the night, he was contemplating, why did I oppose Sukadeva Goswami? Why did I write contrary to something like that? Because he was inspired by Guru Ayappan and he was writing. Then Krishna came in his dream. They said, no, you both are correct.
Right.
Actually, I took a stone and break it, and then I took a stick also and break it. So you both are correct. So like that, Acharyas.
Yeah, sometimes Bhagavan has to take the headache of resolving conflicts. All right. Anybody else?
For one last thing, maybe I forgot, you quoted one verse in Harishauri's commentary that the Godavari evaporates.
Saraswati.
No.
Acha, haan.
Can you tell?
Yeah. There is a verse on Godavari that na drishyam na shrutam kena varina vari shushyati aho Godavari vara bhava sindur vishushyate. Na shrutam, na drishtam, na shrutam. Nobody has seen or heard that water evaporates water. Has anybody heard? No. Aho, wonderful, Godavari vara are the waters of Godavari. Bhava Sindur Vishushyati, which dry up the ocean of material existence. So this is the glory of Godavari specified in Subhashit Ratna Bhandagaram. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Adokshas Krishna Prabhu. And then we will also want to give, anybody from the Vaishnavis want to ask if they can raise their hand. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a beautiful class. Prabhuji, you explained about Shraddha in detail, and your example also, you also performed. So recently we were told that, in ISKCON generally devotees don't perform, and there are lots of reasons also, because Brahmana is not pure. In your case, like you quoted, the Brahmana was very austere and he maintained his dignity. But in many places, we don't get such Brahmanas, the ingredients are not pure. And then we are given option that you can come to temple, donate for deity worship, and feed Vaishnavas, donate to Vaishnavas, and chant, and this is enough. So can you explain this?
You see, Brahmanas are not pure, substances are not pure. These are all right. But when these become an excuse for akartavya, not performing our duty, that is not all right. Because as a grihastha, the entire universe looks up to a householder. The remaining ashramas, brahmachari, vanprastha and sannyasi, they are looking up to grihastha ashram for their maintenance. The ancestors, they are looking up to grihastha ashram for receiving a share of what is meant for them. So there is something called as kartavya. Kartavya, it is also in Bhagavad-gita called as loka sangraha. There are mantras at the end of every activity that mantratas, tantratas, chidram. If there is anything wrong in the mantra, the performer, the brahmana, the place, please let it be taken care of. Those mantras exist so that we can perform the activity, and then later if something is deficient, it will be taken care of. Giving donation in the temple and performing Shraddha at home, these two are not mutually exclusive. It's not that only one thing should be done and other should not be done. One should come to the temple and give dakshina. There is no problem in that. But one should never fail on, especially if family tradition is there, one should not fail on carrying out family tradition. Because family tradition is called as Loka Sangraha. In the Gita first chapter, one of the big fears of Arjun is Lupta Patanti Pitaro Yasham Lupta Pindodaka Kriya. If the forefathers, they are expecting something, better give whatever they are expecting from us. So a devotee does not avoid Loka Sangraha, maintaining family duties, by giving the pretext that I am now a devotee. But there may be a devotee who has become Ekanishta, one-pointed, and given up family life and retired. For them, it is not necessary. But for those who are in family life, it is very much expected from them that they should try to do something. In the third canto, Kapil Muni gives a verse that यह करोत्यंतरोदरम तस्य भिन्न दृशो मृत्युर विदधे भय मुल्मणम आत्मनश्च परस्यापि यह करोत्यंतरोद. One who differentiates between his stomach and the stomach of other living entities. For him, I give great fear to such a living entity. Srila Jiva Goswami says, as you feel hungry, others also feel hungry. So feed. A grihastha should feed prasad. In Satkriya Sar Deepika, there are detailed descriptions of why devotees don't perform regular Shraddha, but why devotees offer prasad of Bhagavan to their ancestors. So one should invite a Brahmana and request them to offer Bhoga to Bhagavan, and that the remnant should be offered to the ancestors. So Vishnu Prasad should be received by our ancestors. That is Loka Sangraha, protecting family traditions. Otherwise, our next generation, they may or may not be devotees, but they will see, my father did not perform. Why should I perform? Lopa, Kriya Lop. So that is very important. So for that reason it is suggested. All right? It is highly recommended. Right? Hemagiri Prabhu, you have to tell me when to stop. All right? Okay? Let it go. Amongst the Vaishnavis, is there somebody who wants to ask? No. All right. Okay. One last. One last. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to add something. Actually, about this Govardhan Parikrama, and I also read that article today also, you quoted the verse. There was a very beautiful discussion in our forum, and somebody explained, then why would Sanatan Goswami do parikrama on foot? And there you very beautifully explained, because you give more time to someone who is dear to you. So I think if that can be spoken again,
so
devotedly.
Somebody asked a question, if you can also do a parikrama by vehicle, why did Sanatan Goswami did multiple parikrama? Because his aim was not, I want punya, parikrama punya. That is not his aim. His aim is, there is Kusum Sarovar, there is Mansi Ganga, there is Haridev. So every day I want to remember. Smaran is his aim. And Bhagavan is very dear to him. So his aim is not parikrama punya. For those whose aim is parikrama punya, they do parikrama using any, foot or vehicle or anything. But those whose aim is Raganuga Bhajan, Smaran, for them, Govardhan Parikrama takes a whole completely different meaning altogether. And that's the level on which Srila Sanatan Goswami was executing his bhajan. So therein lies the difference. All right, thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
जो पुतना है भगवान कृष्ण के हाथ से मारी गई तो गई गोलोक धाम
जी।
और उनको माँ का ही स्थान प्राप्त हुआ
जी।
अभी रोम हर्षण जो है किसी भी कारण से बलराम के हाथ से मारे गए तो उनको क्या गति प्राप्त हुई, ये प्रश्न है
जी। So if Putana is killed by Bhagavan, Putana, English is all right?
Yes, okay.
Putana is killed by Bhagavan, Putana got the position of a nurse in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
That is a very exceptional case. And therefore there are verses in Bhagavatam, Aho, Baki, Yanstana Kalak, Aho, wonderful. Usually Bhagavan does not do this. But Bhagavan gave his personal abode and personal seva to somebody who had come with an inimical mind. So this is a very exceptional case. Usually demons killed by Bhagavan either attain impersonal liberation or in rarer cases they may attain spiritual world. But that too not all incarnations of Bhagavan, in very few cases. And that too, if this is about demons, Romharshan Sut was not an asura. Romharshan Sut was a Suta. He was empowered by Sri Vyasadev. He was a disciple of Sri Vyasadev. Therefore, any contact with Sri Balaram is obviously going to be of very great benefit to him. But there is nothing specified in the original text of the Bhagavatam. But it is certain that there is no degradation of such a living entity. So that is the answer that can be given. All right. Thank you very much once again, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.